A blind knight that uses echolocation, viewing the dark, treacherous world through sound. Trapped in a dungeon keep, endangered by combatants, where hazards lurk around every corner. Make sound to have vision, or don't and be stealthy. Avoid impaling threats throughout the dungeon to escape. Engage with other prisoners.
Rogue Knight I've been hearing about. Could you find the key and unlock my cell?
Free them to fight back with more allies.
Let's take this guy.
The Dungeon Labyrinth has many paths and even more traps. Struggle through the darkness to find your freedom.
Presentation.
Oh boy, you thought things were tricky last week. It's a lot trickier tonight. How tricky is it? Well, it's the tricky triangle. Thanks for asking. Welcome to Pocono Raceway for the fourth time in series history. Round number 2 of the chase. And we are here in the Poconos, where there are a lot of drivers saying Pocono after Michigan last week. We'll see if anybody is willing to turn things around tonight, as the Venom Truck Series here on Turn 200 is back at Pocono. Tommy Cook, Matt Williamson, partner, everybody's favorite, Scalene Triangle. We're back at it.
Yeah, it's a popular place here on Turn 200, whether it's the Venom Truck Series, the Daredevil Series, any series that we broadcast for, it seems like everybody enjoys a little triangle race in here. And I think the drivers are looking forward to this one. However, iRacing has thrown a small wrench in things with the Season 1 update here today.
Yeah, certainly. We'll touch on that here in a second. It's Always Sunny in PA 150, presented by Tectate, as the track is completely covered in shade at the current moment. So not very sunny indeed. It's very sunny at the top of the point standings for the new man at the helm of the chase after one completed round, but he is not enjoying that lead by much.
Certainly not, but yes, Brody Gunter has overtaken the points lead here in the chase, but only by 1 point over your reigning series champion, Matt Schlosser. Chad Stearns sits back at third, 16 points down from the leader. Andy Poliski, John Kay round out fourth and fifth, with Zach Lockett actually tied for fifth with John Kay. Then you got Jan Van Leer, Garrett Rainey, Joshua Matacek, and Andy Ducato. That is your top 10. Those are your chasers here vying for the Nathan Reynolds Cup. Things still have the opportunity to be pretty tight after this one.
Yeah, just think, Gunter and Schloss are really the only two drivers on this list that did not have some kind of an issue last week. If they run afoul of Pocono here this evening, things could be even Stevens headed into the short track portion of the chase for the Nathan Reynolds Cup. Next week at North Wilkesboro, Rockingham after that, and Charlotte to close it out. Along with Pocono here this evening. Those are the final 4 races of the season. I want to say hello to the Rutherfords in the chat. Hello to Joshua. Hello to Don Golden as well. And hello to King McBride as well. Thanks for joining us. Appreciate you hanging out with us. And yeah, 40 seconds left to go. Let's touch on these updates. Of course, quarterly update from iRacing. They dropped a whole bunch of new content today. And a big update as well. The one that is going to affect us here this evening is an update to the aero kit of this truck. A lot of the drivers are saying, and Matt, I think you and I have come to agree with them, a lot less travel in the back end of this truck. It feels a lot more snug and firm.
Yeah, I've heard a lot of drivers saying that even when they want to get loose, they're not necessarily able to, specifically when they're in traffic. I've heard other drivers over the radio here in practice say that once they get to about a truck length behind the truck in front of them, they just can't. They cannot really drive it any longer, which, I mean, to be honest, seems like they are heading more towards, the simulation, the real-life aspects of the trucks and racing in NASCAR around these racetracks and the way that the air and the aero works with these cars and trucks. So it will be interesting to see how this plays out tonight. I think the tunnel turn number 2 is going to be quite difficult here if you're tucked in behind somebody.
Well, it's about that time to find out. 60 laps here tonight at the Tricky Triangle. And it is time to go for chase round number 2. It's always sunny in PA as the sun comes back out, and it's another pole position. The Tectate Pole Award goes to Brody Gunter for the 5th time this season and the 15th time of his career. How about Sam Baumgarten back in the lineup tonight for the first time since Phoenix, where he enjoyed a season best finish. He'll start on the outside pole this evening. Lucas Carver, great qualifying effort for him. He'll start in 3rd. Zach Lockett with a big comeback last week to finish in the top 10. He'll start in 4th. Paul Ellison and Joshua Matichek on row number 3. Matichek needs a lot of points here this evening. John Kay does as well. He'll start in 7th. A disappointing final lap for Chad Stearns. He'll start in the 8th position. Eric Breeding following up a top 10 finish last week with a top 10 start tonight. And Garrett Rainey starting exactly where he finished last week in the 10th position. Last week's winner, Hayden Palumbo, led a lot of laps here back in season number 8. He starts to the inside of Matt Schlosser, the reigning series champion, in 12th. The Rutherfords both on row 7. It's Joshua on the inside, Corey on the outside. Jack Watson, Austin Holyfield on row number 8. Tyler Bergert snuck in for a top 5 last week. He'll start in 17th this evening to the inside of Jan Van Leer. Row number 10 then is Josh Freeland on the inside of Gary Clark. Kyle Zittle's been having some connection issues, but he's here for now in 21st to the inside of Steve Roman in 22nd. It is Andy Poliski on the inside of row number 12 with Cole Maxwell to his outside. Jordan Journeau and Pascal Samard is back. He will round out your 26 driver lineup here this evening. Sun is out in the Poconos. Mr. Matt Williamson, what do we got for the strategy notes and the track temperatures and all the fun stuff here at Pocono?
Yeah, track temperature is pretty cool here today. It's 74 degrees ambient, 88 degrees is your track temperature currently. We have 60 laps around the Tricky Triangle here tonight. So, I mean, if this thing ends up going green, it could be somewhat of a quick one here. But with the kind of notes we've talked about with the new aero package and the drivers not being very familiar with it in racing conditions, I have a feeling we might have a couple more cautions than maybe we normally would on a night here at Pocono, but we'll have to see how that plays out. As far as fuel, they can make it on one stop. I'm not sure they will want to do that on the tires, but I was able to do about 6 or 7 laps of practice real quick before we got started here. My right front was at about 94%, but that was without traffic. So you put traffic in play here, I think these drivers are really going to be hurting on the tires.
4 cautions on average here at Pocono in our previous 3 races with the Venom Truck Series. Jeff Langston and Jeremy McKinnon have gone to lane, and so is your pole sitter, Brody Gunter, back in season 8. Green flag is out for chase round number 2. It's Gunter leading the way with Sam Baumgarten to his outside. Headed to Trenton, New Jersey turn. Baumgarten is out ahead and will have the lead outright. Gunter going to try and come back here on the inside. Whoa. Carver getting loose there. They're 3 wide for 5th. Stearns comes out ahead.
Starting to single file out front, but back behind, still 2x2, 3 wide for a couple of rows back there towards the back.
Rewind does not work in the tunnel turn, but nobody's lifting, and there is contact, and somehow they get out of it. I think that was Hayden Palumbo on the inside there. You get to do that once, and that I think he's punched that card. Oh, Gunter into the wall up front as he got a little bit tight in that dirty air. Sam Baumgarten leads the opening lap here in Pocono. Bonacek taking a run here to the inside of Carver.
Yeah, Bonacek's on the move early here, which...
Carver way up the track. I don't know if they made contact, but Carver very, very loose, tracks it all the way up to the wall. And he'll go from 4th back to 8th, and he'll lose a couple more as Schlosser takes a run 3 wide. It did not look like they made contact, but certainly aerodynamics play a factor there. They were very close to one another. Carver, the big loser on that one. Still running in the top 10.
See Schlosser getting a little loose, having to take that inside line into the tunnel turn. Works right now on fresher tires, but once these tires start to fade, that becomes nearly impossible.
Rutherford was using the wall through turn 3, and that is not ideal. He hits the wall coming out of the turn down the front stretch, loses some momentum. The longest straightaway in NASCAR, we always say it whenever we come here, and it's a long boy here in Long Park. But you need all that momentum you could get out of the 3rd turn to stay in this draft.
Some battling and scrapping further back in the pack. It's Joshua Rutherford, Austin Holyfield, Tyler Bergert. As Bergert went all the way, the long way around turn 1 to try and get a run, and he got one. Oh, he's going to wash up the racetrack, though, able to corral it, but will lose all that positioning he just gained.
Things spreading out a little bit here and there. As we say hello to Brad Slagle in the chat, cheering on his teammate Joshua Modacek on Thursday nights. And hello to Robin Modacek as well. As John Kay again to the inside here of Stern. Sam Baumgarten continues to show the way. But he's got Gunter and Lockett in tow. Here's Lockett now pushing Gunter to the inside, headed into the tunnel turn, literally bump drafting him. Lockett now in a precarious position, washes up the track, and is going to punch a big hole in the air for Joshua Modacek, who will re-push Sam Baumgarten clear. Now Modacek on the outside for 3rd. New leader Brody Gunter at the stripe.
Woo! See a bunch of drivers flirting with the wall there out of turn number 3. Everybody able to keep it off the wall that time, but as we continue on with this run, that turn just gets tougher and tougher on exit.
Stern's aiding his teammate Lockett with a big shove down the front stretch, and he is going to try and slide up in front of Modacek.
Whoa.
Modacek, some light contact with the wall, but again, will lose all of his momentum here down the short straight. Should say the second shortest straight. This is the short straight.
Lucas Carver, big dive to the inside here in turn 3.
I don't think Carver loved the circumstances that put him back in the top 10. He's clearly got the speed to be inside the top 5. He's trying to work his way up quickly here. Well, there's still some good in these Goodyear Eagles. But he is out of the draft line here down the front stretch and is not going to gain any spots doing that. Things have calmed down a little bit, as every truck has at least a truck length between them, except for Schlosser and Kay. Kay overshoots the tunnel turn, and the door is open. Schlosser takes advantage very quickly. Schlosser now moves into the 5th position, as here comes Sam Baumgarten now to the inside for the lead. He got that run quite quickly. Him and Gunter both are loose, and Lockett is looking for a way to take advantage. He's going to push the 6 truck down the front stretch. Bodacek pulling back up onto the scene. Really, back to Stearns in 7th. These drivers are all in touch. Stearns, or rather Randy Carver and Ellison, not too far behind either. The Alabama gang lurks in the final 3 positions in the top 10.
This is one of those racetracks where one small mistake can cost you multiple positions. So when they're all stacked up like this, you really got to be mindful of not making a slip up too big. Oh, caution
he's got
is
a caution.
out.
Joshua Rutherford is spinning down the 3rd stretch. What do you call that? We'll just call it the short stretch. But either way, sounds like he thought he was clear, made a move, and was not clear. We'll see exactly who else was going to be involved here. But that's caution number 1 here on lap number 7.
Let's take a look. This is Joshua in that blue truck on the bottom. And that's Steve Roman in the 00. I think Joshua just thought that either he was clear or Steve was going to maybe let up as Joshua was trying to work his way back in the line here. And they got hooked together. Quite a bit of right side damage there for the 64. Steve Roman, kind of a little bit harder to tell if there's much damage there. It doesn't look like it, but we'll see. There might be a small amount of optional there.
Well, the problem for Steve Roman is he just had some kind of connection issue and crashed under caution. And I think is maybe going to be out of the race.
Let's take a look. This is from Josh's point of view. And there's Steve's point of view. Steve felt like he had the run, and I think Joshua just... Joshua was clear for a little bit there, but I think was just maybe a little too timid on forcing the issue up in the line, and unfortunately ended up getting the worst of it there. I don't have a replay cue for Steve's incident.
I think the issue is that he was blinking out, and I think just crashed while he was blinking. Yeah, and an upload packet loss, so he is out of the session and will have damage when he does come back, if he does come back. There's been some interesting goings-on with this server. I'm wondering if it isn't slightly compromised. So we've seen quite a few drivers blinking. Kyle Zittel lagged out. Steve Roman lagged out. Ellison's been blinking under this caution. Speaking of this caution, John Kay brings a host of drivers down pit road, but a handful of drivers have stayed out as well.
It's split almost right in half here.
Yeah, I think it literally is. It's 13 in and 13 out if you count Vroman. I guess Pascal Samar didn't start the race, so not counting those two, it's 13 in, 11 out, or the other way around. 11 out, 13 in. How about that? And the horse you rode
Still
in
the
on,
opposite way,
a
but
partridge in a pear tree. You know what I'm trying to say. More people stayed out than came in.
There you go.
Joshua Rutherford has the unfortunate distinction of being the first person to test the damage on this new Aero model. I don't know if 5 minutes is fair for that. Maybe a bit excessive.
Yeah. If you put a nose into the outside wall, I'd say that's probably fair. I think these drivers are just used to this truck being pretty stout. Yeah. Maybe more so than it probably really should be. So maybe a little bit of a correction there with the update as well.
So John Kay is back in 13th with presumably 4 fresh tires, at least 2, with only 7 laps of green flag action. Tells you maybe how valuable these tires are going to be. Staring down the barrel of a one-stop race as well. Brody Gunter and Sam Baumgarten were embroiled in a battle for the lead amongst themselves. 2 of the 4 work-in-progress drivers on the battlefield here this evening. Talk about clutch. I know the points don't quite reflect it, but Zach Lockett was in a world of hurt about the halfway mark of last week's race. Lagged out of the session under caution and was 2 laps down, and kept himself in contention for the lucky dog and got himself back on the lead lap. And you know what? All hell broke loose on the final lap, and he was able to get up to 10th. And that is a day salvage, and potentially a chase salvage as well. You and I both sing his praises week in and week out about how consistent he is, and this is a Zach Lockett kind of night right here. So, Lockett third to the inside of his teammate Matt Schlosser on row number 2, Joshua Matichek and Chad Stearns. The opposite race from Lockett to Stearns. Stearns up front all night in contention for a win or at least a podium, and turned on the final lap. And the points certainly do reflect that. Stearns on the outside of row number 3. Lap number 10 on the board this time, 50 laps to go. Gunter with a great start. Baumgarten under fire immediately for second. Into the banking they go. Gunter free and clear. So is Lockett now. Slides up and takes second. Schlosser looking for a run, but it fades down the straight. Josh Freed to the inside of Joshua Matichek into the tunnel turn. They ride side by side. And Freed is not done yet. Finally gets clear on Matichek. So move Freed up to 6th. And the caution is out. Problems for Kyle Zittel down the front straight.
Oh, and he hit the inside wall fairly good there. I mean, visually it looks somewhat okay. I would imagine it's probably going to be similar, optional to Joshua Rutherford. I don't know. That left front looks pretty raised up. Yeah.
That's not what I thought you were going to say.
It looks a little lifted up.
Okay, that too. But anyway.
Well, I heard a 3 wide call.
I think that may be the problem. Is I'm not sure Zittel did.
So Ellison on the outside, Zittel in the middle, and it's Hayden Palumbo on the inside. And I think it was Palumbo trying to make sure he got as good of a run as possible, crowding the inside of Zittel a little bit. I think Zittel thought that Ellison might hit the wall. I mean, Ellison was very close to the wall here. I think
to be fair, I also thought that.
I think Zittel was
I wasn't driving.
Yeah, Zittel was trying to give Paul a little bit of room because I think he thought he was maybe going to make some contact with the wall. And him and Palumbo came together on the inside line there.
Zittel also had Garrett Rainey in front of him that maybe he was trying to get in line with.
Who was that behind him? Is that Cole? I think it is. Let's see if we can look at Cole's point of view on this one as well through turn 3. So this is Ellison, Zittel, and Palumbo in front of Cole here. Yep. Part of that could have been Zittel trying to follow Rainey down. Rainey made kind of a interesting move from the middle to the bottom on the front straight there as well out of turn 3, and maybe Zittel was kind of following his tracks a bit as well. I don't know. There's a few different things coming into play there.
So a few drivers down pit road. Jack Watson, Cole Maxwell, I think the headliners, because Joshua Rutherford and Kyle Zittel are coming in to get damage fixed. Yeah, Brad Schlegel in the chat saying he's got a throwback coming on Thursday night. I'm excited. Thursday night is our last Max V race on turn 200, and they surprised us by saying that the last race is called the Turn 200. So that's quite the honor. I've heard some interesting news about Thursday night. It's a championship race. We'll see how that all shakes out. But hopefully everybody will join us for the final Max V race on Turn 200 at Homestead Miami Speedway on Thursday at 9:15 p.m. Eastern Time. It'll be a first of many bittersweet nights to come here soon. But we're excited to crown another champion here on Turn 200. So the new tire runners from the last caution will have only got 2 laps in, and John Kay only picked up 1 position. So
yeah, they didn't really get up fully to speed, so I mean, I think there's still some opportunity for those fresher tires to come into play, but they do have a bit of a cycle on them now as well, so maybe not quite the advantage that they were looking for at this point. Only one driver on cameras for us right now. That is Brody Gunter. To be fair, Kyle Zittel was earlier as well, but I think shut it off after his connection issues, although I'm not sure it was his internet connection in particular. It seems like we could have some potential server issues going on. But regardless, Brody Gunter running a camera for us here as he has been for most of the season.
yeah, we'll see if those persist. And, some bugs are kind of expected, depending on how much content you own. The update today was between 30 and 45 gigabytes. So it was not the biggest I've ever seen, but it was, that's not nothing. That's a fairly large amount of data. I'm just more surprised that we got a lot of our rural broadband drivers in time today. Everybody got their updates started early enough or did just enough to be able to get into the session.
Yeah, I think it helped that the required updates were quite small. It was more of the optional updates that were the large majority of the gigabytes that you needed to download there. So iRacing kept the required updates small, allowed everybody to get in time here.
So still have yet to see how this new aero kit on the trucks will do over the course of a long run. There is a chance we could go 45 laps to the end here. I'm not saying it's likely, but it is possible. And that would certainly have some interesting ramifications on this race, as everybody will have to come in for fuel. But who will have the tire life to stretch it maybe just a little bit further? Green flag is out. Gunter, Baumgarten, and Lockett, the top three. Is Baumgarten looking to take second back, exactly how he lost it on the last restart. Foster fourth, Freed side by side with his teammate Chad Stearns for fifth. Stearns with a huge run, but is not going to take it. As Baumgarten is back to fourth.
He's going to try and loosen Baumgarten up a little bit here, though. Took it to the bumper.
Ooh, some drivers fan it out. John Kay on a little bit fresher tires is starting to pick off a few positions.
Oh, hard in the wall. That was I believe, Corey Rutherford, yes.
Rutherford's been trying a higher line in turn number 3. I'm wondering if that already isn't wearing those right side tires out. Zach Lockett right back on the attack. Doesn't get a great roll out of turn number 1, though. Schlosser makes his way into the picture, top 3, equidistant, separated by a truck length into the tunnel turn. Make that the top 4, but Baumgarten is loose. He saves it. He saves it, but is back to 5th.
That was a nice job to not lose more positions than that, though.
We've been talking all night about how snug the truck is. That was not snug. That was loose. Chad Stearns with the purple lap up to 4th, and he's in the mix. Lockett will try and rally. Meanwhile, John Kay, fresh tire watch, up to 8th. And we'll be trying to track down Andy Poliski and Josh Freed, who have now tacked on to the lead pack.
Jan Van Leer on that same strategy with John as well, just a couple spots behind.
Past Corey Rutherford to do that. There's Don Golden in the chat saying Corey and Joshua both having issues. Corey's at least hanging on right now. He's only back to 11th.
Josh Freed side by side with Andy Poliski here down the stretch. But Poliski in the draft there, able to get out in front of the 39 and clear. And now is going to have fresh tire John Kay right here in tow. And look at that. John just able to wrap the bottom much better than these drivers on the older tires.
Just prodding away there on the inside of Freed. And a classic DRS train for the top 8 positions. RIP to DRS. And the P does not mean peace. Some bump drafting for Lockett and Stearns. Stearns takes a big run to the inside of Baumgarten. Can he make it stick? Not yet, but he's chipping away.
Looks like that's Lockett and Stearns, a couple of teammates working together here to try and gain a position for the both of them.
It's tight in the tunnel turn. Just look, those two getting side by side. I mean, Gunter and Schlosser triple their advantage. Back to that battle. And Stearns is able to clear.
Baumgarten trying to cross it over there to the bottom, but just can't quite get the run, and Stearns will have some help from Lockett.
Stearns was a quarter of a second behind Schlosser. Now he's nearly a full second back. Lockett around the outside. And is able to get clear.
Baumgarten slides up in front of Poliski. Poliski going to look to the inside here in the tunnel turn. Ooh, a little bit loose there for the 32.
Leaders are coming up on Kyle Siddle.
Oh,
Matt Schlosser
John
slips
Kay in the
and
wall.
So does John Kay. Somehow Kay hangs on to the spot. Poliski will lose the spot to Modicek.
And here comes the lap traffic.
Siddle trying to stay high.
Don't forget, racing for halfway bonus points here as well at the completion of lap number 30. And your top two are the top two in points.
Yeah, a lot of these drivers in the field will certainly be praying to the iRacing gods to throw some bad luck Brody and Matt's way. There's two drivers that they don't want to see 1-2 right now, and it's these two. Even at the stage. Stearns leading a conga line in third. 0.8 of a second behind the top two. And they get jammed up there. Kay, again with fresher tires. Looking to make quick work here of Baumgarten, but that hole gets filled on the outside with Modicek, and then Modicek has to jam on the brakes.
Oh. Modicek loose, shoots Poliski down the racetrack. Man, Andy has been on the wrong side of a couple of meetings with the wall for some drivers here.
Yes, he has.
First it was John, then Joshua, but still able to hang in there for right now. Did lose a position or two, though.
Well, the Rutherfords are both blinking on. Van Leer was just blinking a moment ago. Very interesting, this server.
Josh Freed trying to take a look
Ooh.
to the bottom, and Modicek able to make it work around the outside.
Yeah, Freed walked it up the track nearly into the side of Modicek there. That was awfully close.
Boy, that was quite the move for Modicek. Freed had
He's
to...
got the run down the stretch here on Zach Lockett.
Oh, it's a big one, too.
To the inside.
Slider.
Up to fifth. That was overcooked. He has the positioning that he wants, but he doesn't have the momentum to go with it. At best, it'll be even Stevens into two.
Hey, he's got the help of the draft from Baumgarten up front, though, able to keep the momentum rolling there.
So good track positioning for John Kay and slightly fresher tires. Kay is up into the top five. Jed Stearns has not been able to close the gap up to Matt Schlosser. Still 0.8 of a second. Schlosser still riding about 2 truck lengths back from the race leader Brody Gunter.
5 laps until bonus points are paid out. John Kay looking for as many positions as he can get. Got Baumgarten and Stearns right up front here.
Whoa! Baumgarten loose. Here comes Kay. Brings Lockett with him. Oh, and Lockett into Baumgarten's door. Lockett is loose. Baumgarten just a kiss of the wall.
Woo! Couple of drivers getting squirrely there further back as well. Looked like that was Rutherford and maybe Paul Ellison.
saw this last week at Michigan. Chance Stearns hanging back. Now, he didn't give up the top 2 positions, but he is riding with pretty consistent lap times in the 3rd position, maybe just saving a little bit of tire. I'd say the difference from last week to this week, other than Pocono and Michigan not being similar at all, is that Stearns' track record is sterling at Michigan. It's not quite as good here at Pocono. But the con to that is that he's also Chad Stearns. And he's still in touch with the leaders and ran a faster lap than last time.
Matacek thought about a move on Lockett there, but thought better of it. Oh, he's going to take it to the bumper here.
A lot of what the drivers were saying in practice was true from the drop of the green, but it's proving to be even more true as these tires continue to wear out. Passing is a premium.
Oh, Corey Rutherford into the outside wall. That was Lucas Carver getting tangled up with him.
And Carver's race is over. That motor is expired. We'll see how bad the damage is for Corey. I would imagine it's pretty bad.
Yeah, it was a pretty hard shot, it appeared. I don't know, visually it doesn't look terrible. I mean, that right front looks pretty punched in. Oh, boy. Yeah, he's got a big right front tire. Her wheel is definitely out of alignment. There's no doubt about that.
Well, feast or famine for work in progress racing. 2 drivers in the top 5 and 2 drivers with serious damage. And this caution number 3 comes out at a very interesting point in the race this evening. I'm sure we'll see everybody down pit road momentarily.
Well, let's take a look here. This is between turn 2 and turn 3. And it looks like, well, we did have a good view of it there. It looked to me like Carver was pretty well up towards the wall. I think Corey was working his way out towards Carver, just trying to get a better entry into turn 3, and we'll back it up and see if we can latch on to the 10 of Holyfield and see if we can figure out if there's any net code of any kind or if that was just pure contact there. It's definitely contact. I mean, Carver was right up against the wall. I don't think there's much he probably could have done different. I mean, there was a small movement off the wall, but I think that's more because he felt like he was going to get pushed into the wall. Unfortunately for him, his race is over as a result nonetheless.
So Cole Maxwell just had some kind of an issue and pulled straight off the track. And Tyler Bergert was almost borderline lagging out as well. Got the latency flag, which we don't see but once in a blue moon. So I don't know what to make of whatever's going on here. Well, not a surprise. Everybody down pit road. I would imagine halfway bonus points will be paid out on the lap of the caution, since we are going to hit the halfway mark across the stripe this time. Or complete the halfway lap across the line this time, rather. but that remains to be seen. That'll be a post-race thing. Either way, Brody Gunter will be coming away with 10 sweet points. Matt Schlosser has fallen back quite a bit here on this restart, or for this restart. Was in second. Now I think we'll be restarting in 7th, if I'm not mistaken. 7th or 8th. Or maybe 6th. Either way, that's not second.
No, yeah, I think it'll be 6th here on the outside of Baumgarten.
Yes.
Little intel from the Rutherfords. Corey has 8 minutes of optional off of that one. So, yeah, the arrow is going to be hurting pretty greatly on the 15 truck. And Joshua Rutherford still with a couple minutes of optional here.
How about anything, Carol, in the chat? Joshua Monacek, just about as far back as we've seen him tonight. Running in the 9th position. He's been a mainstay in and around the top 5 most of the night. Chad Stearns on the outside front row. This has been true for pretty much every race we've seen at Pocono, regardless of the series. The control car has a massive advantage. Gunter has been able to smoke the competition on our 3 restarts thus far this evening, or rather our 2 restarts in the initial start. Kay on equal tires now with everybody around him, up into 3rd. Zach Lockett on the outside of row number 2. Sam Baumgarten and Matt Schlosser on row 3. Josh Freed and Jan Van Leer on row 4. Joshua Matacek and Paul Ellison, your top 10. Andy Poliski in 11th. Garrett Rainey in 12th. Then your next chaser in the running order. Is there anybody else? Who am I missing? I'm definitely missing somebody. I'm not sure. I'll figure it out later. We're back underway. Andy Nicano, by the way, just for the record, is not here this evening. So that's one chaser we're missing straight off the rip. Gunter and Stearns clear. And Lockett side by side for 3rd. That was tight.
Yeah, Lockett was lucky to not hit the wall with a ton there.
Okay, plummeting.
Oh, Baumgarten across the nose of Jan Van Leer. That was almost disaster.
Good heads-up driving by JVL there is going to cost him a spot, but he gets to keep on trucking. Schlosser's going to have a run here down the front stretch. Is he going to take it straight to the tailgate of Lockett, or is he going to pull out to make a pass? Or is John Kay going to try and take them both here? A little pushing the pusher action at Pocono. Starts with a peek underneath.
I mean, this is the Chad Stearns MO. Fade that bottom. A little bit of clean air. Running a little bit lower line there than Gunter. And just stick around until the end of the race, and you never know what position you'll find yourself in.
Like Kay got really tight there through the tunnel turn, and Baumgarten is able to get underneath. Kay now having to fight back from the outside.
Should allow Kay to get a pretty good run on Schlosser here, I would think. And he takes it to the inside.
Boy. Rolls out of it, and with good reason.
Oh, Baumgarten gets turned.
Baumgarten into the slanted wall, and that is race over for the 6th. And that's the 3rd work in progress driver to go around and find one of the walls. Caution number 4 of the night. It may not be a race ender per se for Baumgarten, no meatball flag, but that is on the angled wall there, right out of the turn. That's not one that you want to hit.
I mean, that
well,
was
you
a
don't
hard.
want to hit any of them, but It was a hard hit.
Yeah, for sure. I don't know if visually the visual damage has been like nerfed or something, but I mean that was a pretty hard shot, and the front of the truck doesn't even look that bad. I'm wondering if the internal damage is going to be much more. Let's take a look. This is Freed on the inside, Baumgarten on the outside. Looks like Baumgarten trying to do a little outside in to get a good run off the corner. And yeah, Freed comes up into that left rear. I don't know if maybe he assumed Baumgarten was going to tuck back into line there.
I think if he would have done that, he probably would have piled into John Kay himself.
I guess I didn't realize that most of the hit was actually taken with the rear of the truck.
Okay.
When we switched to the live shot, it looked like it was more on the front, but it was actually really more on the rear. So, I mean, engine-wise, the 6 might be looking pretty good still. The drivers are getting a little restless over the radio right now.
Yeah.
These are long caution laps.
Yes. And that's the thing. You know, we've run 35 laps and this race has been 43 minutes long. These drivers are getting impatient, which is going to lead to more cautions. That's just the way of the world. Now, normally, we bring that cycle up at the short tracks, not the biggest and widest track that we go to, other than Talladega. Only 6 minutes for Sam. Okay. I found it. I'm like you. I thought he took that more on the front or flush on the side. I think hitting the back probably saved him a little bit. I don't think it's going to help the stability of that truck much if he is able to get all that fixed. He'll probably have some permanent bend. Well, Bertie Gunter, since he took over the lead from Sam Baumgarten earlier in this race, is yet to be properly challenged. We saw Stearns starting to work him over, but didn't really ever get to see a realized side-by-side battle between those two.
Yeah, I mean, we've seen on these restarts, it's a pretty good passing opportunity. Be curious to see if Stearns can make himself a run out of turn number 1.
Interesting call here. Brody Gunter wants the outside.
All right. So, seems like Gunter wants to have the momentum around the outside coming off of 1.
Well, somebody's motor just blew in the pits. I think it was probably Lucas Carver, if I had to guess. I'm hoping it wasn't Sam Baumgarten. So this will be a restart with 23 laps to go. Saw the field come in under the last caution on lap number 30. Right at the halfway mark of the race, we were talking about this being a one-stop race for fuel, so that shouldn't be on anybody's mind. What about the tires, though? I would think, getting into the late stage run here, if we get another caution inside of 20 to go, you're definitely going to want to come in and get tires. Maybe I'm alone in that.
Yeah, I mean, the series of cautions have certainly come out in interesting places. I mean, this does open the door for everybody to just try and make it on this set of tires. They will be hurting, though.
Yeah, certainly. They'll be hoping that that's all that's hurting by the end of this race, though. Gunter with the control of the outside, and Stearns seesawing on the front of Zach Lockett's nose. As those two get hooked up here on the bottom, Schlosser looking for help from John Kay.
That was perfectly executed by Gunter. Getting clear on the outside and having a much better attack angle into turn 1 there.
Side by side for 4th and 6th into the tunnel turn. Lockett and Kay. And Jan van Leer and Joshua Matajek. Kay clear for 4th. Schlosser up to 3rd. Zach Lockett trying to come back at Kay. Three-tenths of a second advantage for Brody Gunter headed into turn number 1. As the front 5 try and pull away from the rest of the pack, and Jan van Leer in 6th. Josh Freed has gone from 6th to 9th on this lap already. Paul Ellison going to make a move. Nope. Pulls back into line behind Joshua Matajek. Oh, and that explains the Cole Maxwell disappearance. Our headset went away. So not a server issue for him. That seems to be the outlier, though. Ooh, Paul Ellison cracks the wall out of 3. John Kay, purple lap in the conga line here down the front stretch. Running in 4th. They're all gaining on Gunter.
Meanwhile, further back, everybody's scrapping for positions back here as, wow, Rainey and Ellison nearly came together there.
Yeah, that was awfully tight.
But there ain't no tight like broke guy tight.
Amen to that. Last two standing are Andy Pleski in 12th and Eric Breeding in 15th.
Man, everybody is struggling off a 3 here. See a bunch of drivers sliding down towards the bottom of the racetrack trying to keep it out of the wall.
And Andy Pleski caught a door for, I think, the 38th time this race. If I had to guess. Seems like it anyway.
An average of nearly 1 door every lap.
Honestly, got to be getting pretty close at this point.
Pleski and Journeau side by side through the tunnel turn. Pleski will be clear. Oh, look at this. Potential 3 wide brewing behind him as Joshua Rutherford and Breeding almost got together there. That's Jack Watts up the bottom in the 77. And Rutherford into the wall. Gary Clark has turned as well.
Caution is out for the 5th time. matches the series high here at Pocono, still with 19 laps to go.
Boy, there was another driver way further back there, slid all the way into pit road.
That was Corey right there.
And that was Corey. Maybe just got loose trying to get it locked down to... Well, I would imagine that pit road was probably closed at that time. I'm not sure what happened here.
I tell you this much. Not a good night in the work in progress Discord server right now.
Yeah,
other than Brody Gunter leading.
I was gonna say there's only one driver having a good time up there.
Feast or famine.
So let's look as Breeding. Breeding does not get into the wall, but Joshua does, and just pulls it off the wall right down into Gary Clark. It looked like Breeding was headed towards the wall as well. I'm wondering if Joshua maybe followed the tracks there a little bit. Let's go full speed out of turn number 3. Yeah, I think it was a little bit of follow the leader, but Rutherford was led astray on that one. But Breeding was able to keep it out of the wall. Rutherford was not as lucky. And then let's back it up real quick and see what happens to Corey. Oh, and this is Corey also hitting the wall. That's what got him loose. Boy, so... the outside wall off of turn 3 at Pocono must have really done the Rutherfords wrong, because they are slapping it hard here.
Well, unfortunately for Joshua Rutherford, that is his second claim caution of the night, and he will have a drive-through penalty. No takers under this caution. So nobody rolling the dice on tires yet. Oh, well, how about they do it now? I thought we went around already. God, I hate Pocono's caution laps. Here we go. Plenty of takers.
Had to make a whole nother lap around just because of where the caution flew there, I think.
Put a pace car on the backstretch. That's all I'm saying. Schlosser, K, Van Leer, Palumbo, Rainey, Ellison, Breeding, and Watts are the drivers that stay out. Everybody else is in. And it's interesting because all of those drivers were drivers that pit under the first caution, except for Matt Schlosser. Schlosser leaving himself an extra set to play with. Jack Watts seemingly out of tires as he's come in 3 times. Race off the pit road goes to Brody Gunter. Gunter, Stearns, Lockett, Matichek, and Freed are the first 5 out.
Yeah, for a lot of those drivers that stayed out, other than Schlosser, as you mentioned, I mean, this is pretty much out of necessity, pretty much banking on there being another caution, and they don't want to run out of fresh tires, so they're going to take their medicine here and hope another caution flies so they can put a fresh set on here later in this race, although we're getting towards the end already. The problem for them is most of those drivers that just came down pit road still also have a set left, so they're not really getting much of an advantage here. They got behind the 8 ball when they came down the first time.
Gunter will restart in 9th on the fresher tires. Chad Stearns rounds out the top 10. As it'll be Matt Schlosser and John Kay on the front row. Jan Van Leer, Hayden Palumbo on row 2. Gary Rainey, Paul Elston on row 3. Eric Breeding and Jack Watts on row 4. Haven't seen Hayden Palumbo up towards the front much here this evening. Had one little peek and a mistake sent him hurtling out of the top 10. Palumbo led a lot of laps here in his rookie season in season number 8. Came away with a 4th place finish that night after Brody Gunter got to the front of the field. He never looked back. So we'll see if Palumbo can find a little bit more magic. Because again, I say it, I've said it every week for the last month or so. He's not in the chase. And that wasn't really in chase contention, but boy, he is driving the wheels off the honey wagon. And we'll see if he can do it again here from the outside of row number 2. Jan van Leer's good stretch of finishes came to an abrupt end last week on the final lap. He needs himself a good night tonight to get back into contention for the championship. So we'll see what he can do here from 3rd. And once again, leader-elect in the outside here. 04 will be on the top. We're about to hit the 1 hour mark in this race, and there's still going to be 15 laps to go when we get to the stripe. You and I were talking before the race. Man, 60 laps doesn't seem like a lot. How quickly we forget how slow the pace laps are and how slow the laps are here at Pocono. Base truck will hang a left, and we'll get back to it here with Schlosser and Kay on the front row. Schlosser fires. We're back underway. About the best front row start we've seen from the non-control car thus far, and still Palumbo is going to pull alongside Kay here for 2nd. Might even get clear. No, Kay going to hang on the inside. Kay drops back in line in 4th. JVL takes over 3rd. Chet Stearns on the fresher tire has hopped Brody Gunter and is weaving his way through traffic. He picks off Jack Watts. Next up is Eric Breeding.
Yeah, Gunter got stuck in traffic big time. Gunter still all the way back in 12th. Meanwhile, Stearns up to 6th and looking for 5th already.
It's the power of the control car being on the outside. Stearns also on the outside. Gunter did not get a good getaway. Kay to the inside of Jan for 3rd. He's got it. So move JK2 up to P3. Stearns moving on Paul Ellison here.
Gunter still mired in traffic. You see him on the inside trying to make some headway.
Zach Lockett also through on Brody Gunter.
Stearns now looks to the inside of Garrett Rainey.
Glosser able to put some distance between him and Palumbo as a couple of drivers out of shape there out of turn 3. Jan pushing John Kay towards Palumbo, who is caught up to Schlosser. Stearns to the inside of Matacek. Matacek able to hang on to 7th.
So Matacek on the same strategy as Stearns has now leapfrogged to the 05.
Stearns in that dirty air, way tight out of 3. Here's John Kay with a look to the inside of Palumbo for 2nd, dives it off into 1. Bumbo answering right back. And he'll take it back. Kayla gonna cross him right back. Oh, right to go in the back. Caution is out. Brody Gunter is the one involved. Gunter, a couple of hard shots to all four corners of that truck as it went spinning through the tunnel turn. And that is the work in progress bingo card. So some disagreement over the radio between Brody Gunter and Andy Poliski, and that's a storied history between those two drivers. We'll see what the tape has to say about this one.
Yeah, I think we're going to have to back it up a little bit to really get the full picture here. So this is headed into turn number 2. Poliski on the outside, Gunter on the inside. And both of them pretty tight around the corner there. Oh, and then the back of the truck, the back of the 32 gets a little bit loose. And with as tight as those two were running, not much room for error, and tags the right rear of the 01. Let's run this back. We'll go on board with Andy Poliski here. You see the contact there in the middle of the corner. Let's go one more time here. See the contact in the middle of the corner. And yeah. Once you kind of get locked up there, it's from our vantage point, it's hard to say how the truck behaves at that point. Sometimes when these trucks get locked together, it can do some odd things. So,
yeah, we'll leave that one to the stewards.
Yeah.
Brody Gunter claims it. Matt Schlosser in the chat with the weather forecast. He says it's dark, but doesn't he know? It's always sunny in PA. Never mind the fact that it's 6:50. It's always sunny. Except for that one time that it was really foggy here. That's some Christopher Busher erasure.
well, Tommy, things have really never slowed down here tonight. They've only ramped up. And with less than 10 to go when we take this restart, drivers still staying out on older tires. I don't think it's going to get much better.
I know what you're trying to say, but also these trucks have been going incredibly slow tonight for a lot of this race. But there is a reason for that. Like you said, the intensity. Yeah. It's not going away. The intensity is only going to ramp up from here. So that is, as much as, you know, that's not a good thing for Brody Gunter. That was a great thing for the rest of the chase field, because that was the points leader. Now, everybody will be hoping that Matt Schlosser is going to get swallowed up here on this restart. and maybe we could go into North Wilkesboro next week on a little bit more even footing. We talk about Zach Lockett's in-race great comeback last week, but if John Kay can pull off a solid finish here tonight, you said something to the effect of last week, if you have a problem in Michigan, there's a good chance that your chase is over. Well, John Kay finished dead last week, but he's only 27 points behind still. I think that is doable if John Kay could start rattling off some good finishes, and by God, he's staring down the barrel of a good finish here. Potentially even a win.
Yeah, he certainly is. He's got to make sure he wraps this one up. I was speaking more to the effect of you got drivers like Matt Schlosser who have just been very consistent all season. Obviously things can happen. We've seen them happen to pretty much everybody here in the chase so far, including Brody Gunter there in that last one. But it just makes it a lot more difficult on yourself. But you're right. John Kay is headed in the right direction here if he can wrap it up in the next 8 laps.
8 to go at the stripe. Schlosser again with control. Will fire from the outside. Palumbo to his inside. Kay and Jan Van Leer on row 2. And a great start for Schlosser once again. Kay will have to go to work pushing Palumbo. There's no such thing. Palumbo clear for second. Kay and Jan Van Leer side by side for third.
Keep an eye on Chad Stearns. He is the top driver on the fresher tires.
Oh, and they jam.
Kay
trying to throw a little arrow block. 3 wide for third. And they are all packed up.
And that allowed Chad Stearns to make up multiple positions in a hurry there. Boy, they are all over the place.
Schlosser starting the snake, trying to shake Hayden Palumbo as Stearns is up to third. Jan Van Leer back to fourth. Kay back to fifth. Garrett Rainey is into the picture in sixth. And Zach Lockett and everybody else behind them side by side. Seven to go. Oh, Ellison and Monachek make contact, and Monachek is headed for the wall, rolls out of it. They're making contact behind them, though. Another one way down the track. I think it was Tyler Berger. Saves it. We're still green somehow. It is 7 o'clock, and it is getting dark very quickly.
Oh, multiple drivers in the wall. Kyle Zittel shoots way down the racetrack.
Stearns and Palumbo gaining on Matt Schlosser. Garrett Rainey and Zach Lockett have both gotten through on John Kay. Kay is back to 7th.
Purple lap for Chad Stearns.
Stearns is only going to get a couple of cracks at this, even with the fresher tires. You have to pick your spot wisely. If he could get to the lead without a caution, more than likely he could check out. But there is no time to waste.
He's going to back this corner up in turn 3 and hope to get that big run. It looks like he has it.
Oh, he has it, and he is looking to take Palumbo along. Schlosser doing all he can to manipulate the air behind him. Palumbo and Stearns still gaining. So is Jan Van Leer. Top 3 nose to tail. This track is 2.5 miles long and 4 lanes wide, and all these drivers are barely using any space. Stearns going to try and pull Palumbo back, pulling to his inside here into the tunnel turn. Not quite clear, but should be able to get the job done here in turn 3. Stearns trying to wrap it as tight as he can to that yellow line, slide up in front of his 35 truck. Palumbo going to answer back with a crossover, maybe. Bails out of it. I think Palumbo knows his best shot to get the win here is to push Chad Stearns up to Matt Schlosser, and he's doing exactly that. Bump drafting down the straight at Pocono. John Kay all the way up to the wall. Just trying to maintain position. Three and a half laps to go. Schlosser and Stearns, as they have been on numerous occasions this season, running 1-2 in the closing laps. They are teammates, but they are also championship adversaries. Oh, is Lockett and Rainey making contact in turn number 3, and Lockett takes the position by force, move him into the top 5. Kay and Monacek bump drafting to try and take advantage of Rainey's lack of momentum down the front stretch. Kay will take the spot back on Garrett Rainey. Stearns down to a truck length. Coming to 2 laps to go.
Lockett and JVL side by side here as well.
Stearns has got to run. Is it going to be enough for him to want to take it? You hate to pass up an opportunity being this close. But maybe backing up the entry here out of 1. Looking for the big run. Schlosser knows he is on the defensive. Moving that truck all around the straightaways, trying to break the draft.
Palumbo still lurking here as well, just in case anything were to happen between these two.
No matter who comes out on top, they both want to see the white flag right here.
Oh, they're wrecking in the back. They're going to take the white flag.
This race is official. 1 lap to go as they crash behind them. Poliski, Ellison, and Watts. The battle is on for the win. Stearns to the inside of Schlosser. Palumbo is here. Can he steal it? Lockett is on the charge down the straightaway. Stearns fading on the inside. Schlosser's got him stacked up behind him. Can Stearns find enough of a run down the straight and through turn 3 to challenge for the win? Stearns looking for the run. Not going to find it. To the checkers. Stearns pulls out a line, but Matt Schlosser hangs on for the win. Another podium for Palumbo and Stearns in second.
Boy, what a battle. It came down to 4 drivers there at the end. I thought that Stearns and Schlosser might run away with the 2 of them, but they got to battling.
Disaster for Ellison, Poliski, and Watts on the final lap. Poliski finishes down in 20th. And that will be a serious dent in his chances for a second championship in the Venom Truck Series. But this was the night that Matt Schlosser needed to capitalize with problems with Brody Gunter, and boy, did he do exactly that. Win number 5 on the season, and he's hit double digits in the Venom Truck Series. Schlosser, the points leader, back on top. What would you call this? We've seen a moonwalk.
Yeah, I don't know. Good question. That's Matt Schlosser for you, though. Always making his own moves.
So, drama.
Yeah, plenty of chirping over the radio, that's for sure.
Schlosser's going to try and find his way to the road course here, I think. Maybe not. Just come hang out in the campgrounds.
A man of the people. Oh, I think he might have fallen through.
They up there in them there hills, they always are yapping on about object permanence. Let's go ahead and take a look at the accident there on the final lap, see what we can piece together.
Yeah, let's see if we can take a look as we're taking the white flag. Know for sure that Ellison was involved. This is through turn number 3, coming to the white. And this is Jorno on the bottom. And looks like Jorno just slides up off the bottom line and just tags the left rear of Ellison. And this is where Poliski, man. I mean, how many times was it that's happened to Poliski tonight? This one just happened to be on the last lap and happened to be the worst of them all. I mean, Andy could not catch a break here.
And looking at the replay, I don't think they actually touched. It looked to be a McRib in that.
The McRib always makes its appearance.
Yeah, well, we can, you and I can laugh about the McRibs and whatnot from the booth, but there are going to be some McPunches thrown in the McGarage, I think, this evening. There are a lot of unhappy campers after this one tonight.
Yeah, this is a tough one. I mean, you get long caution periods, and many of them, I think, we had 7 tonight, maybe 6 or 7.
I think 6.
Yeah, I mean, 6 caution periods, and the caution laps are like 2 minutes long. Drivers getting a little bit restless. It's just one of those nights. Also struggling with trying to figure out the new aero package on this truck all at the same time. It was a night some of these drivers would like to forget. One driver that would not like to forget it, that is Matt Schlosser.
Certainly not. We'll take a look at the full finishing rundown here. Man, that was a great finish up front, to your point a moment ago. Schlosser with the win, Stearns in second, Palumbo in third. They were all right there, as was Zach Lockett in fourth. Jan Van Leer will finish in fifth. Good 18-5th run for Jan. John Kay will finish in sixth. Joshua Monacek in seventh. Austin Holyfield, Josh Freed, Tyler Berger back in the top 10 after another interesting night for him. 11th for Garrett Rainey. It's 12th for Kyle Zittel. Jordan Jorno in 13th. Eric Breeding in 14th. Brody Gunser in 15th. 16th for Joshua Rutherford. It's Paul Ellison in 17th. Gary Clark in 18th. Corey Rutherford in the 19th position. And Andy Poliski rounds out the top 20. Final driver running is going to be Jack Watts in 21st. It'll be DNFs for Sam Baumgarten, Cole Maxwell, Lucas Carver, and Steve Roman down in 25th. Pascal Simard did not start tonight's race. So looking for our podium finishers, and they are nowhere to be found at the moment, other than Matt Schlosser. So I guess we could start with a race leader. Chad Stearns is hanging out somewhere, but we'd like to start with Hayden Palumbo. Unfortunately, I don't see him unless he's going to hop in here. Oh, he just did. All right, we'll bring Hayden Palumbo right in. Third place finisher. Back on the podium. Excuse me. With a nice follow-up to the win last week. It's a very interesting finish to this one at the back of the pack, but also, 4 cars under a blanket going for the win here at Pocono, and things really tightened up there on the last lap.
Yeah, honestly, I didn't know that it was going to be that tight. Like I know that I was going to catch them like into 1 and 2, so I saw Stearns go down there, and it's like tires had no effect, honestly. Like that's why I don't think any of us there that last cycle pitted. You just couldn't pass. Like the truck, awful. Just to go ahead and say it, be the first one. Um, yeah, my thing was though is like I knew for a fact like I couldn't pass them in the tunnel, so like I just had to pick one, and it felt safer to push Matt than it did Chad, in all honesty. So that's where I went.
Matt, what you got?
Yeah, congrats on the good run here tonight. I know you kind of mentioned some struggles with the truck, but I think that brought on a few more cautions than we typically see at Pocono here. I mean, how tough was it to just try and keep your nose clean out there? Because it seemed like everybody was either getting into the wall or getting into each other here tonight.
Yeah, I mean, it was one of those things like if you were less than a car length away, like you got super, super aero tight. It wasn't really all that loose, honestly. But it just wasn't Pocono of old for sure. I guess the new update has done something to the way it handles or something. I don't know, but yeah, it was pretty bad.
Well, it helps when you unmute if you try to talk. Well, it's good to get to talk to you on the podium once again. I mean, you continue the incredible stretch that you've been on for about the last month and a half or so, with yet another podium finish. So good to get to talk to you once again. Let's get some shout outs in before we let you go.
Oh well, shout out you guys. Always a good broadcast. It was fun to watch last week because like I got out and I guess I was just adrenaline pumping or something winning that race, but like I had no idea what had happened, and y'all just went with it like I knew exactly what I was talking about. And it turns out I was talking about where I thought Matt was, not where he actually was and where I was on track. I had no idea. But yeah, it was a great broadcast, and you guys always do a great job. And then shout out the car owner, Papa Mike Hughes. And then Mom Dad's probably watching. I think my fan club's watching. And then insert coin guys. Jan was super helpful there on that last restart. So, he helped me kind of, I guess, clear out of John and, try to run Matt down. But I just didn't. I wasn't confident enough to try to go for it, so I didn't send it.
Well, we got plenty more time to send it here over the next 3 races. Looking forward to getting back to a short trek next week and seeing what you got there. But in the meantime, we'll go celebrate this one, and we'll talk to you again hopefully next week.
You better plan on it.
That's what we like to hear. Let's talk to Chad Stearns, who come home in the runner-up spot here this evening, and was drawn a bead there on Schlosser at the end, but will still come home in the runner-up spot. And it seemed like the momentum sort of swung away from you there on the last lap. Everybody ganging up to keep you pinned down there on the inside.
There wasn't much I could do. It's so hard to pass at Pocono, so I kind of expected it. Yeah, I mean, Matt did a good job. There just wasn't anything I could really do, honestly. I could get to him, but at that point, I was trying to think of something a little bit out of the box to try to get by him, and I just had nothing.
Didn't have any spikes on the tires or anything to throw at him?
Needed something like that for sure.
Maybe next season they'll have something like that. Matt, what you got?
Yeah, congrats on the P2. It was a good run for you here tonight. I know you just kind of mentioned it was tough to pass. I was curious, you've put a lot of time in this truck. Was that just just Pocono itself, or do you think some of the update had to do with some of the it being a little bit tougher to pass maybe than normal here?
Personally, I thought it felt a little bit different, like the arrow. So it felt like it was a little bit tougher. So I guess that's because of the update. I'm not real sure, but yeah, it definitely felt, I don't know, like usually I'm used to like shifting here. So yeah, it just felt, I don't know. It felt like you could fly up to somebody's bumper, but to get by them was a whole nother story. And if you tried, then you got freight trained on the outside. So yeah, it definitely felt a little bit different.
Well, good to get you back on the front foot tonight after, I mean, had to be a devastating blow last week and being on
Yeah,
for
that
a
was rough.
podium. Yeah, that was not a lot of fun. But we'll get you back on the podium here tonight. Let's get some shout outs in once again.
Yeah, shout out to Matt for winning 939 Motorsports, Zach and Josh as well. Venom Truck Series and Turn 200. You guys for broadcasting. Appreciate it.
All righty, partner. Thanks for the time. Congrats to the P2, and we'll hopefully talk to you again next week in North Wilkesboro.
Yes, sir. Have a good one.
Well, the whole 939 squad is in the waiting room, so we'll pull the boss man up as he is the race winner for the 5th time this season. And we'll finally break this P2 streak and get a P1. Nice consolation for a patient couple of weeks. But good to get to talk to you once again here, partner.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, great to be back in victory lane.
Well, I think the story of the night, other than the cautions and probably several fistfights that we're catching on the stream right now, would be the new aero package on the truck. And regardless of what the review is for you in traffic, I would imagine you give it an A+ as the leader. Is you had to go to work defensively. A lot of aero manipulation there in the final 5 laps as Stearns was hunting you down.
Yeah, I think we were talking about the differences in the truck, and it's hard to kind of like give a full report on the differences to me, but it is definitely different. It just feels like a slightly different vehicle. But yeah, the clean air was huge for me tonight. I mean, Chad obviously had 10 lap pressure tires. And I think with the track cooling, it just helped me keep just enough advantage, even with the draft. And I was trying to take people's air away in turn 1. I preferred the middle lane in turn 1, but people were going low to get clean air. So I was trying to just take their air away a little bit so that they couldn't get a huge run off of turn 1. And I think that definitely helped. But yeah, I was glad not to be back in traffic any more than I was earlier in the race, because it seemed like a handful back there.
All righty, society meeting is in session. Matt, what you got?
Yeah, congrats on the race win here. I mean, you survived kind of a crazy one. Lots of drivers hitting the walls, lots of drivers hitting each other, but you're able to use a strategy call to stay out, and like you said, use that clean air to keep yourself out front. You're sitting in a pretty good spot here going into the next 3 races. I mean, how are you feeling about your races you got coming up for the rest of the chase?
Definitely optimistic. I feel good about North Wilkesboro. I feel good about Charlotte. The other track is eluding me. What's the other one?
Rockingham?
Rockingham, not quite as good, but hopefully we'll get something figured out there. But yeah, I mean, it's a shame. It sounds like Brody got in an accident or something, so that's a bummer. Like you was hoping to race him for the win, and you never want to take the points lead because somebody had bad luck. That's always kind of a bummer. But at the same time, it's nice to have it by a few points, I would guess. But yeah, it's looking pretty good, I would say. If I can have 3 more podiums, it might be enough. I got to do a little bit better with stage points, though. I gave a few of them away with a bad pit stop. So yeah, just got to do a little bit better and try to protect the little points lead that I believe I have now.
I'm going to do a little plug for Eric Breeding as well, because next week is his race, and he's got the ugly sweater paint competition for next week. Are you cooking anything up in particular for that? I'm sure you're one of the better painters in this league. I'm sure you got something going.
Well, those are kind words for a guy who runs the same paint scheme in every car in every league ever. I appreciate you saying I got painting skills, but yeah, I do have some ideas. It's fun to have free reign to just make the ugliest paint scheme you can imagine. So, I think I've got a few things in mind I'm gonna try to do. And the good news is, if it doesn't look good, that's the whole point, right? So you don't really have to worry about colors and patterns and lines connecting and things like that. So it'll be a fun project.
So what you're saying is the better painters in this league, which pretty much every painter in this league is good. It doesn't matter how good of a painter you are. The bad painters will prevail. next week. Is that what I'm hearing?
I think so. It sounds like whoever has the most opposite talent might have the leg up for the contest. We'll have to see.
So many things going on in my brain right now. Let's get some shout outs in once again before we let you go.
Yeah. Quick shout out to the league and Kyle Ziddle and everyone who runs the league and makes it happen. Shout out to Hayden Palumbo for the bump draft on the Long Pond straightaway, or the one before the tunnel turn. He gave me a nice shot that put me ahead of Chad to make it a much less stressful last couple of corners. So thank you to him for that push. And shout out to Chad. He, I think one more lap he might have had me. He's obviously the man late in these races. So I was thankful I didn't have to survive longer than I did. And the whole team, Zach probably deserved a podium, came up one spot short. I know Freed was fast. I think he might have spun at one point and lost some track position, but he was quick. So nice job by him to get in the top 10. And shout out to Turn 200. And that's basically it.
All right, awesome stuff here tonight. Congrats on the 5th win. Congrats on double-digit wins in the Venom Truck Series as well. Go celebrate, and we'll hopefully talk to you again on Friday.
Cool. All right. Thank you.
All right, Schlosser, 5th win of the season, takes control of the points lead, presumably anyway. Gunther did finish in 15th, I believe, and that should probably not be good enough to hold on to the top spot. So Schlosser, the points leader, headed into Ugly Sweater Night next week. Again, Eric Breeding and Punisher Graphics putting up the prize money for the worst looking truck next week. I may have to throw out a couple of designs just for free use and see if we can get any takers, because I'd like a share of that as well.
Yeah, that'll be certainly be interesting. We have a lot of creative minds here in the Venom Truck Series, so I'm sure some of these guys have probably been pondering this one, and I'm excited to see what we have. I think maybe we'll try and incorporate some sort of a fan vote in the chat. I won't be 100% fan voted. We've been told that it's really up to Tommy and I's discretion on who the winner is, but we'll certainly take your input in the chat throughout the race next week. So everybody will be looking forward to that one, I'm sure. But going back to kind of put a bow on tonight here, certainly an interesting race. I think time will tell how much the effects of the update really were, and maybe just how much it was just, a tough race at Pocono. In the chase format, that certainly plays a big part in it as well. So, but thanks to all the drivers who came out here tonight. Good stuff throughout the night from everybody here. Shout out to everybody that was in the chat. Joshua Rutherford, Don Golden, Matt Schlosser, Cole Maxwell, Nathan Carroll, Brad Slagle was here, Bailey Monachek, Robin Monachek, Datachek was here watching as well, and King McBride of MDs. Thank you everybody for tuning in here tonight. Chat with us, always appreciate it. And Tommy's got a couple more coming up for you later this week.
Absolutely. Thursday night, it is the final Backspace CNC Home Designs Truck Series race on Turn 200. We'll see you for the Turn 200. Thursday night, 9:15 p.m. Eastern Time at Homestead, Miami Speedway. They'll crown a champion there. Looking forward to that one. Friday night, it is the second to last race in the Dirt 200 special. That will be at Lernerville. Excited to get to Lernerville at 9 o'clock p.m. Eastern Time. And that will bring us around to next Tuesday, where we will go racing in the Punisher Graphics race at North Wilkesboro. And excited to get back short track racing next Tuesday night at 8:15 p.m. Eastern Time. That is all we got for you here tonight. Thank you to everybody that was hanging out with us. Thank you to the admin team, who are certainly hard at work right now. And thank you to Car Inside, and thank you to Mr. Matt Williamson. That's all we got for you here tonight. Till we meet again from Pocono Raceway, I'm Tommy Cook saying so long, and congratulations to Matt Schlosser on his 10th career Venom Truck Series victory, the 5th of the season. Have a good night, everybody. This has been a live broadcast on Turn 200. Be sure to hit subscribe and hit the bell to get notified of when we go live next. Thank you very much for joining us, and we'll see you again soon.